Gonna be running down! Running
Why I decided that 8:17 AM would be the best time to wake up, but I did.
So, today, we'll be doing a day in the life at E3.
I feel like I'm in a chicken coop.
E3 is always busy, like always, you just can't get around it, but today is something else, man. So we're going to check out Monster Hunter in the morning, then Square Enix are doing a presentation, then I've got a COD presentation, Borderlands 3 stream for 3 hours, then we're checking out Roller Champions, I'm hopefully going to visit the YouTube creator space, and then today's sponsors, the Rebellion team, are going to be showing Sniper Elite as well as a new game that I won't spoil until we actually get there. And then I'm going to be seeing Cyberpunk at the end of the day, which I am so freaking excited for. Oh my god. So there's a lot in here. Like, that's a lot of real big games. And you're going to be with me every step of the way. Also, I went to see Dying Light yesterday, and they gave me this, dude. How am I going to get this into that suitcase? It's just not going to happen. Hey, is this the car for Milo? Yeah. Hello, this is VoiceOver Milo now. I'll be jumping in throughout the vlog to keep you updated with what's actually happening on your screen. Our first appointment is with Monster Hunter World's new expansion coming later this year, Iceborne. We're looking for Capcom. I think they're in this hall, but it's actually really hard for me to figure out where everything is in E3 every single year. So I might be doing some running around to make my appointment. We will see. Please be in here, man. I'm at Square Enix, and there's Ubisoft here. Please be here somewhere. Yes, there it is. There it is. Holy shit. Incredible, man. Damn. Hi there.
Hi there.
I've got an appointment for 9:30. Milo, nice to meet you.
Jump on this one.
So this is...
Yeah, that's HDMI you can use. Yep, 2 and 2, yeah.
So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good about how things are going. Capcom have been great, and I'm actually setting up on my station about 10 minutes early, which is good, because I'm also going to need to leave my station a couple minutes early to make sure that I'm not late for my next appointment, which is Square Enix, and they're doing a presentation that you cannot get into if you're late for it, so I've got to be punctual. This is probably the game that I have the least kind of experience with or on. It's something that I'd like to get into, but it's a lot to sort of learn. So this is gonna be a bit messy, this capture. But hey, I mean, what can you do, eh?
It's all fun.
This is the point where everything just started to go wrong.
So the E3 madness has already begun. First appointment of the day, and my capture card is not getting picked up by my laptop. So what I'm gonna do is run with my laptop to the Rebellion booth, if I can figure out where that is from where I am right now, and then hopefully use their Wi-Fi to download a different version of the capture program and then go back to the booth, all within the next sort of 15 minutes, and get some capture of the game. The only problem with this plan is that I think Rebellion are on the entire other side of the building, and I mean I could use, oh, Activision are here actually. I'm gonna try them. Please work. Yes, we're in. My savior, so I can relax hopefully once I get back to the booth, and fingers crossed it will work now. Ooh. Thank you guys. See ya. Not this way. This way. Back we go. Only took one wrong turn. Getting back here. We found a solution. This wonderful man found a solution. So now it's time to play at last. After so much running around, we made it. I was hoping I would have enough time to do 2 hunts. The first hunt would be just a Great Jagras, which you've all seen before undoubtedly a billion times. And that would be to get used to the controls on controller, because I've only ever played it before on keyboard and mouse. And then the second hunt would be the actual hunt where I'd cap the gameplay that I was going to be going for. But unfortunately, by the time I'd finished that first hunt, I had to go. So this is the only gameplay I got, which is really unfortunate. Capcom were very accommodating, but I basically didn't really get to show off any cool stuff from the actual expansion. So, sorry guys, both Capcom and you, the viewer. I'll do my best to do a better job next time. And just like that, Monster Hunter right here is done. and I'm now going to a presentation for the new Avengers game, which is going to be amazing.
I actually missed my appointment to see this game's presentation the day before for just the most stereotypical British reason in the world. I was queuing in the wrong line. Seriously, we just love our queues apparently. But anyway, Square Enix managed to reschedule for me, absolute legends, and so I went right in to watch a 30-minute demo of the new Avengers game. The presentation honestly was really impressive. There was a short introduction and a short outro, but the main thing was just 20-25 minutes of continuous non-stop gameplay. At first, yes, it was a little weird getting used to the fact that the characters don't sound like their MCU counterparts, but after a couple of minutes, it really just felt normal. It didn't really feel that weird once you adjusted to it after a little bit of gameplay. And I think that that's generally going to be the way this goes. A lot of people right now are so used to Robert Downey Jr. being Tony Stark, for example. Like, he's such an iconic actor for that role at this point. But if you just give it a bit of time, you will adjust to hearing these new voices from absolutely top-class voice actors in these roles, and the gameplay itself looks pretty fun as well. I mean, there's some kind of quick time event type stuff in there. You've also then got like 2 abilities that you can use throughout the gameplay, so you might have like a lightning strike if you're Thor, which creates like a sort of slowed down time effect, and then you might also have an ability where you can kind of throw your hammer and pin someone against a wall and create like an explosion of lightning from that. Those abilities kind of continuously come back as you play, and it looks great as far as I'm concerned as well. Lots of effects going on at all times, really making it very visually interesting, and just generally, I thought it looked cool. Right after my Square Enix appointment ended, I ran off to go see a presentation for the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare, where they were going to be showing 2 campaign missions. This is where the E3 cardio workout really begins, because basically for the rest of the day now, I am bouncing back and forth like a pinball across the entirety of the convention center. So get ready for a lot of walking around.
So now we're in the Modern Warfare area with Activision, and there's going to be a presentation. Very exciting.
Despite being told that we were going to see 2 campaign missions, really we only saw 1, because the first one was just really short and then the second was the entire rest of the demo. I'll give you a couple more thoughts on it in a second, because I recorded just some brief kind of initial impressions while I was on the show floor. But the 10-second summary is the game looks very good. It's definitely going into territory that is going to really offend some people and other people are going to love. And so it'll be interesting to see how they deal with that balance. And ultimately, I think that we just need to see more of the game before we can really judge whether it's going to be an amazing COD or a not so great COD.
And just like that, we're done. Thank you, appreciate it. Onwards to 2K.
As you might imagine, onwards to 2K actually translates to now I have to walk all the way back to the South Hall, but thankfully I had a bit of time because the COD appointment was booked out as an hour slot, but it ended up only being 30 minutes long, and so I was able to wander around a little bit around the 2K booth, check out some of the statues that they had, stuff like that.
That is Modern Warfare out of the way. They didn't show as much as I was kind of hoping. Like, it was basically 1 mission. They said it was going to be 2. It was basically 1. And the idea was that we were like breaching into a house and taking down some bad guys. And it looks cool. Like, the game definitely looks a lot better now. But it's still so early, and it's still so hard to tell how the wider game is going to be. So no like massive red flags in the gameplay, but also nothing where I was like, oh my god, this is going to be the best thing in the world. Just, yeah, looks pretty good. This is what's next. This looks genuinely incredible. Flack, I want to play as you. I want to play as you, Flack. When's it going to happen, buddy? Plan is Moe's today. We're going to be streaming from the Borderlands booth just in there very shortly. But yeah, these statues look nuts, man. Already played as our boy Zane. That looks phenomenal. And then we've got Amara on there as well. Seriously, nuts. So I've just got to figure out where the media check-in is now so I can get my stream set up. In there. This is where we're about to be streaming from. We've got like all the art in here. You've got some Borderlands cushions over there. It's going to be a good time.
So 2K had their booth set up pretty much perfectly. It wasn't too noisy or anything. I was able to stream in 1080-60 from within E3. Like, it was all going great. And then about 30 minutes into the stream, disaster struck. And the timing of it happening was so unbelievably bad because YouTube Gaming had just like retweeted the stream. We were picking up viewers, like the momentum was really taking off, and it was just really difficult to recover from there, honestly. So I'm super appreciative to 2K for giving me the opportunity to stream from the venue, and I feel really bad that I didn't have like a more hype stream because of what happened, and I don't know, man. I feel really bad about it, but the game was fun, which is good, and it was fun to play Moze for the first time, but yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna explain what went down.
So, stream complete, we had a power cut. And it wasn't just this booth, it was the entirety of E3 had a power cut. For all I know, it could have been LA had a power cut, I don't know, but we fought through it, we got to the end, we did some barista bot stuff there at the end there as well, and I'm now gonna just keep running around doing everything else that I've got lined up for the rest of the day, so that was really fun. I want Borderlands 3 now. I don't want to wait for the game to come out, god dang it, but it's always fun to play, man. It turns out that before my next appointment, I'm gonna hang out up here for a little bit, and apparently, don't tell anyone, but apparently Jack Black is around, and he's like coming to get photos with people or something, so that could be pretty nuts. That could genuinely be just insane. Got an amazing view of the masses from up here, man. No worries. There we go, it'll just be a frame in the video.
We can take a break.
Perfect, thank you, I appreciate it, thanks so much. Well, that was an unexpected side sort of track from the original plan. Jack Black. Yeah.
So apparently, for every little hiccup or power cut that happens in LA, there's also a silver lining, and today's was Jack Black. Oh my goodness me. I actually can't believe I got to very briefly say hello to him. What a guy. What an absolute legend. Anyway, my next appointment, I couldn't really stop, was at Ubisoft, and it was for Roller Champions, a game that, I'll be completely honest, I didn't have particularly high hopes for when I first saw it, but I was willing to give it a chance for sure. I don't think what happened in this play session is ever going to happen to me again at another E3. It was just that silly. It was a perfect storm of silliness. So picture this, okay? I walk into the room. On one side of the desk, there are three, I think, Thai YouTubers or maybe journalists. I don't really know, honestly. They're certainly not speaking English, that's for sure. On the other side of the desk, there's one spot free, and there are two other journalists who I think are both English. So I go and sit down with them, and we jump into the game. We play 3 games total, okay? In the first game, we're sort of learning the controls, figuring out that you have to press Y on the Xbox controller to pass the ball, and you also need to press Y to receive the ball, stuff like that, learning how to shoot, all of that good stuff. The game ends 0-0. Then, in the second game, we start getting a bit communicative, and bear in mind, we hadn't even properly introduced ourselves, I didn't know who the guys on the other side were, they weren't even speaking the same language as us, but through the language of the game, we ended up in this absolute grudge match to try and be the first team to just score a single point, because neither of our teams could make it work, the aiming was really difficult, and so it ended up sounding like this. I accidentally picked up the room noise, and you can hear the other guys yelling for a pass. It was just so funny, man.
Okay, we got this. This is the one. I hope so. Okay.
So the second game, another 10-minute game, ends 0-0, and at this point, we're so dedicated to just trying to score. And I mean, I'll let you see what the result of that was. Right at the end of game 3, couldn't have written it any better myself if I tried. Here's what went down.
Okay, I've collected.
Okay, if we score, it's just over. Yeah, if we score now, it's over.
Okay, passing. Yep. Good for a pass back, Score, please! Yes! At last, we got 5 as well. We actually got 5 points. Give me some. There we go.
That's fantastic.
Woo! That's E3. Like, I'm done.
It was honestly such a wholesome moment, just having this battle with the language barrier completely thrown out the window. It didn't matter. We were just two groups of people that had just met, playing games and having a great time together, and it was so good. So, Roller Champions, you get a big thumbs up from me, honestly. I had a great time in the booth playing this game.
The next appointment on the list is Rebellion, who I think are just through there, I think, but honestly, they could also be back there as well. I don't know. Oh, actually, it looks like they are right here. Rebellion. Holy sh**.
As I mentioned at the beginning, Rebellion were one of my sponsors during E3 this year, so mega grateful to them for working with me at the show. The first thing I checked out inside their little meeting room area was Sniper Elite VR. I got to play through the demo twice, the first time just sort of to warm up, and then the second time, as you can see here, to basically do it for real and get a little bit of vlog footage. And I mean, just look at the clip. I'm just a bit of a melon, honestly.
You look
We're
good.
title star for the whole demo. Here we go. Oh, does it not want me to do that?
Well, you are in the main menu.
Oh, right, I pressed it. Despite my best efforts, it was fun. It was actually really enjoyable. I haven't played a VR game in a little while. The last time I busted out the Oculus was maybe a year ago now. But I had a good time with this, and I'm curious to see what other stuff might be in the full game, because I only really got to play for about 5 to 10 minutes. The main thing that I was there for, though, and that I didn't really reveal at the beginning of the vlog, but I can now, is the new zombie army game called Zombie Army 4 Dead War. And for those of you that are a little newer to the channel, I'm just in love with this series of games. So there were 3 zombie army games, and they basically got collected into a zombie army trilogy, and I thought that was going to be it. I thought that was the end and that I would never see it again, and all of the iconic absolute silliness that they do in those games would be gone forever. But then, the Rebellion brought out Strange Brigade last year, and I made a couple of videos on that. That was a kind of evolution of some of the things that they did in the original Zombie Army games, and now they've got Zombie Army 4 Dead War, and it's kind of combined elements that they built for Strange Brigade into the old Zombie Army universe and Zombie Army kind of mechanics and system, and given the whole thing like an entirely different feel. It was cool to see. I'm a big fan of Rebellion. I really respect their work, and I'm just glad there's another one of these games coming out. So I'll be making a full gameplay video on this on my channel at some point in the next week or so. But for now, this is 2 thumbs up for Zombie Army 4 Dead War. My next appointment, thankfully, was quite literally around the corner. And their meeting room was one of the most aesthetic meeting rooms I've ever seen at E3. Like, Rebellion always do cool stuff every year. They kind of decked out their meeting room last year with like a jungle theme for Strange Brigade. It's always cool, but what CD Projekt Red did here was a level I had previously never seen. It was so awesome that they just put that effort in to actually create that world for you to just stand around in while you waited for the presentation.
The next thing we're doing is this. I'm very excited. And they gave us these. Not sure what this is going to be for.
It turns out that ticket was actually really, really important, so I'm glad I hung on to it, and I would be cashing it in at the end of the demo. But first, let's talk about the demo itself. So they had a member of their dev team playing. It lasted about 50 minutes. It was a long demo, and the best way I can describe it in sort of broad strokes was that they did as good a job as they could to try and show us what actual gameplay would be like in the game. So you got a mission, you were interacting with this guy called Placide, and the mission required you to go to a certain area of the map, which you used a bike to reach, which was really cool to see. You've got first person and third person on the bike. It looked great, but you get there and then you essentially, in the Cyberpunk way, the kind of almost tabletop RPG style, decide how exactly you're going to execute your mission. So you could just go in the front, you could go in the back, you can sneak through the rafters, you can hack people, you can go loud, you can go quiet. If your character is spec'd into a blade skill tree, then you're gonna have certain options that you might not have. If you're spec'd into something with much more strength or much more intellect and things along those lines, like they're really playing with all of those ideas of speccing out a character with a certain history, a certain past, and a certain present identity, and using that identity to push forward in a very specific way in the game, as opposed to you being a jack of all trades 24/7, playing the game once and getting the full experience all in one go, and then that being that. It was really impressive, honestly. And I'm just super grateful to have even been given a slot to go see it, because I know their spaces were really packed, but it looks fantastic, and I just can't wait to see more.
I just saw Cyberpunk, and I am really, really impressed with that. I mean, it's the end of E3 now. That's actually the end of the day. People will be like getting food and stuff. I don't think there's any parties tonight. It's a little bit more chill, a bit more low-key. But Jesus, the fact that they have built out the like aesthetic of that world and just drilled down into it as hard as they have, it's nuts. It's actually nuts. I'm so impressed. And I mean, I have a swag bag, and I think it's got a jacket in it, and the jackets look amazing, so I'm very happy. But yeah, now I'm going to basically try and figure out what the evening plan is, and keep things going from here. While Cyberpunk was my last appointment inside E3 that day, E3 never ends when the show closes. It absolutely goes on until about 4 AM every single day, even if there aren't parties going on. There's just stuff to do all the time, because you've got so many friends, contacts from the industry, people that you might not know yet but could get to know. All of them are in one place for a very limited amount of time, and so everyone is just always eager to do stuff and talk and hang out and get drinks and get food and everything. So this evening, I just wanted to do exactly that. It was my last night in LA, and so I figured I want to just go and hang out with as many people as possible. The previous couple nights, I'd gone to the Fortnite party, I'd gone to the Face It Monster Cat party, I'd gone to some other stuff. Now that was all great, and I'd ended up out really late every night, going to after parties in hotels and whatever. But this evening, there wasn't a big party planned or anything. It was kind of winding down a little bit, and so I was going to do something a little bit more low-key. Just like that, back in the hotel. It's going to be such a relief to take off this bag and not need to put it back on again for the rest of the evening. Oh, E3 is manic, man. But today's been a really, really good day. Like, there have been problems, like Borderlands freaking power cut midstream. That sucks. Obviously, I had issues in the morning as well with capture, but thankfully the Monster Hunter guys, the Capcom guys, were absolutely phenomenal helping out with that. So that didn't suck. That nearly sucked, but didn't suck. And, I mean, I got to see Square Enix, which I missed yesterday. Cat, thank you. Legend, what a presentation. And then I just got to see Cyberpunk. And I got to see Zombie Army, man. Oh, I've been waiting for one of those games for so long. I thought that Zombie Army Trilogy was going to be the last one. And it's just nice to be in that kind of world again. Like, I was saying to the guys in the booth, their theme for that game, which is like da 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 da, I love it. It's genuinely like ingrained in the very flesh of my brain. Like, I just love that song, that soundtrack, that theme so much, and I'm happy. And E3 this year has been actually really, despite the manicness, really fun. I felt like I've had a sort of trip which doesn't come around very often. You don't really get these sorts of E3s. You don't even really get these sort of trips that often in my experience, where I've just felt like at my A game in terms of being present, which is a weird thing to say. But sometimes you go to these events and you're jet lagged, and maybe you're getting not much sleep because of the jet lag, and maybe you're drinking at night at the parties, and you're just generally a bit brain frazzled. Like, your brain just sort of melts in your head, and it means that you're just not able to talk to people. Small talk becomes impossible. You can't really function properly. But this event, I think because of the fact that EA brought me out early, it meant that I got past all the jet lag, I got past all the brain frits, I haven't been drinking at all, and I've just felt like 110% every day in terms of my ability to apply myself to things. And I know some of you are probably thinking like, what's this guy talking about? Like, he's out of his mind. But genuinely, it happens at events all the time where you're just moving through syrup. But this time I've been freely just going about my day, getting stuff done, and it's felt great. The unfortunate thing is that YouTube right now is on the absolute fritz. I don't know what the hell's going on with YouTube. It's been very weird. I've got so little faith in the platform right now. It's strange, but nothing to really be done about that apart from to keep grinding and keep sort of working on this thing that I've been building for so many years. So onwards and upwards is probably too optimistic to say, but the only thing to do is to just
do my best. And that's what the plan is, really. So tonight, Korean barbecue might be on the cards. Socks, who you saw at the beginning of the video at the Capcom booth, he's invited me and a couple of the other guys out. So I'm going to just check to make sure that I haven't already got like a prior booking that I've forgotten about. And then it's time for food, which will be really nice because I've hardly eaten all day. Just E3 things, man. I've showered, I've changed, I've strewn clothes across the floor. But now, the important thing is to open this bad boy. I know it's a jacket, and I know what they look like, and I know they're freaking awesome, and I'm just so excited to own one of these beauties, man. Here it is. Wait. Huh? It's reversible. Yes. I love it. It doesn't really go with a turtleneck. To be honest, but bro, wow. KBBQ time. This was just the best possible way to end the trip, honestly. I only knew a handful of people at this table. There were a huge number of people I didn't know, but they were all so nice to talk to, so awesome to meet and hang out with and just get to know a little bit. And like I said, that's exactly what I was kind of going out that night trying to do, so it was mission complete on that front. Ate a lot of really tasty food, and then just like that, we're back from the barbecue. I went and saw a friend, and that was really nice to catch up as well. But that's going to wrap up today's vlog. So I hope you've enjoyed what really is a take on an E3 vlog that I've not really done before. I've not really explored this sort of thing before, but I wanted to show you what it was like to work a day at E3 from the content creator point of view. And I haven't shown you everything, obviously. There's a lot of stuff that is not in the vlog here that I've just not been able to include for time. And also because I've been running around myself trying to get stuff done, and I can't be recording the entire time, right? So I wanted to just try and give you as good a representation of a single day at E3 as possible. Let me know if you want to see more kind of content in this style. Like if you want to see more vloggy stuff from me in the future, kind of giving you an insight into what it's like to be a content creator, streamer, YouTuber, whatever, I'd be happy to do it more, honestly. So just keep me posted, guys. I've been MrRoflWaffles. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna get some shut-eye and then wake up at 6 AM. Thanks for joining me on this one, guys. Bye for now.